President Trump is stumping for Senator Luther Strange, and earlier this morning he tweeted this, quote, "We'll be in Alabama tonight. Luther Strange has gained mightily since my endorsement, but we'll be very close. He loves Alabama, and so do I," says the president. And guess what? Senator Strange joins us now. Senator Strange, has the backing and endorsement of the president helped you? I know that it's a very tight race with your opponent, Roy Moore. How's the president's good words helping you?
The president's helping us tremendously. We were going to have a packed-out crowd, thousands and thousands of people in Huntsville later today, and people are so excited about it. You know, the president carried Alabama by a huge margin. People of Alabama support his agenda, and the fact that he's coming down here in the midst of the schedule he faces is really important to us and will make a huge difference in this race.
Now, your opponent, Roy Moore, he's been very critical of you being slow, he says, to support the president's call to eliminate that Senate rule requiring 60 votes for legislation to move forward. How would you respond to that?
Well, the simple response is when I got to Washington, I supported the filibuster rule for legislation because I thought it protected the rights of minorities, and we Republicans have been in the minority more than the majority in the last 50 years. But the experience I've had since then has taught me that we've got to get rid of it. I saw the health care bill go down. That's why this election is so important. I believe the president's ability to pass his agenda will turn on this election, because one more obstructionist in the Senate and his agenda is virtually doomed. So that's why the stakes are so high here, and that's why he's endorsed me.
Turning to health reform, obviously a big issue right now. Take a look at what President Trump tweeted this morning. He said, "Rand Paul, or whoever votes against health care bill, will forever be known as the Republican who saved Obamacare." Senator, are you a yes on the Graham-Cassidy bill?
Well, I support the president in that regard, yes. Rand Paul, no coincidence, has endorsed my opponent. He's the only senator who has. Again, ensuring that we don't get any progress on health care reform. And the people of Alabama are suffering under Obamacare. And I love the idea. It's about the most conservative idea I can think of, to send money back to the states, because they know how, in all 50 states, to best spend their money to address these issues. So I love the concept. We're working on the final details with the White House, again, in a very cooperative way, to try and make sure we address any particular issues that affect Alabama, because my priority is protecting our citizens. But the concept is fantastic, and I appreciate the president's leadership.
I did note that Steve Bannon is urging conservatives to back your competitor, Roy Moore. Does that hurt you at all? And how would you respond to that section of the GOP party, the extreme right of the party? How would you respond to that?
Well, I think there's lots of agendas going on there, agendas involving Mitch McConnell and people that I've just met in Washington. I'm even newer to Washington than the president is. And I know they'd like to make this a proxy fight, but what it's really about is who's best able and suited and experienced enough to support the president. And the president could have stayed out of this race. He could have chosen my opponent, for that matter. But he's picked me enthusiastically because he knows it is critical to the implementation of his agenda. I'm not part of that Washington establishment or part of the problem. I'm part of the solution, and I look forward to the vote on Tuesday. I think we're going to do very well, and we're going to get something done in Washington.
But your opponent also has been very critical of Mitch McConnell as leader of the Senate. How would you rate Mitch McConnell right now?
Well, no one's more frustrated than I am at the lack of progress. I spent 6 years as Attorney General suing the Obama administration and actually winning and stopping an overreaching federal government in many areas. You know, we were the last line of defense. So I'm very disappointed that the leader couldn't get the majority to pass Obamacare repeal, for example. But it wasn't all his fault when you have 3 Republican senators refuse to go along with the promises they had made to the American people. I don't know that you can lay the blame on that on one person. But listen, people are mad about it. I'm the maddest of all, because I sat there and saw it after 6 years of listening to promises. Right. So that's why the president and I have hit it off. We're about getting things done, conservative solutions, and we're on the verge of doing that.
All right, we're out of time. Senator Strange, thank you so much for joining us to talk with us before the big day. I believe next Tuesday is the primary. Good luck to you, and thank you for talking to us.